Hi there, everybody. My name is Kate, and welcome to my platform, Trinergy Awakens Naturally. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. This is a timeless message in general. It's a timeless message. However, there's some specific things that are happening right now, very active in the ethers. And mostly what I wanted to do is kind of reassure anybody that's feeling a little bit like what is going on. Currently, as of today, it's Friday, and on Sunday we have the harvest moon, the full moon in Virgo, and then it's October 9th, I think that is. Yes, of course. And then on Monday is 1010, which for those of you that are into the light work or starseed stuff, or you understand portals, the 1010 portal is right there. And at the end of the month, coinciding almost with the Day of the Dead, October 31st. Yeah, so sorry. Thought I looked at that correctly. I read it incorrectly. Just before the for Halloween or Day of the Dead, on October 31st, we have a partial solar eclipse. Now, if you don't understand what all that means, or you don't really have to understand it in any way whatsoever, except to know that outer space sends us all kinds of energy. She always has. The energy from outer space has always been beaming this direction. We've had, kind of a magnetic bubble, if you will, or a veil, whatever understanding you have of that. There's been kind of a barrier over the planet, and if you follow anything having to do with the cracks that happens, that has happened in the magnetosphere, those are significant. They're coming from science, and yet when you try to meld that into understanding your spirituality, it might get a little bit weird. And so I'm here to tell you that it's significant if it resonates with you, and it's nothing if it doesn't. The idea that the sun burps, okay? The sun has flares, the coronal mass ejections. People used to laugh at, those that would wear the tinfoil hats and things. And I don't personally, wear a tinfoil hat myself. However, I'm protective of my crown chakra. And I don't always know that because I don't follow the space weather. My guides are very good about telling me, hey, wear a hat or whatever you need to do. We'll tell you about that. So when those ejections come from the sun or solar flares or whatever it is, when we have those big powerful burps of energy that come towards us, or we have planetary alignments, the partial solar eclipse, those portals, we get a lot of energy downloads from places that a lot of people on Earth, there's a very small fraction of people that really believe any of that's true. And yet, I can't deny it. I've gone years of not fully understanding the light worker starseed kind of understanding, or the Ascension. I don't agree with anything. I don't disagree or agree. I don't align with anybody's understanding other than what is given to me by my divine. So I follow Ascension principles and then, tweak it where I need to. So because nothing works for me all the way through. I don't follow Christos consciousness because I don't believe that we're going to a 5D understanding of Earth, that we're just going to a new Earth. The new Earth is being rebirthed every time we pick up more people in their divine, is what I understand of that and what works for me and what I know to be true. So, but nonetheless, a better understanding of how the global picture is, and the space picture, knowing that each planet has its own energy that it sends to Earth, and then if you believe galactically in star seeds and things like that, and light workers that are from off planet, they're coming in from star systems that a lot of technology and information. It goes into stories about Atlantis and other lost civilizations that, again, I don't align anywhere. Not saying that it's bad or wrong. However it gets you to your song, that's what I'm encouraging, because I don't align there doesn't mean that it isn't a reality for people. The only thing I would say is that if we're aligning because somebody said that's the way you can be most holy, I would stop right there and really take that in and say, hey, I have the power to find my own divinity. I have my own ability to find my team, my guides, my ancestors, my angels, whatever I choose to believe in, whatever is revealed to me. I did not ask for anything in particular. When I went through a pretty brutal divorce, it got very ugly, and I was on the floor for, a couple of days at a time, sometimes with nobody to help me. And so there wasn't anything to do except say, okay, what am I missing here, God? Because I'm pretty sure I'm missing it. What is it? And the patriarchal understanding of God was built on some pretty fictitious foundation for me personally, and nothing ever made full sense. And when it started making full sense, I got way into NASA, way into studying quantum understanding of spooky action at a distance and entanglement, and then dimensional stuff started unfolding, and all of these things that don't really align in one particular place. We have way too much information from all kinds of the 12 tribes kind of idea, that we've got all kinds of very royal type information from Upper Knowledge College and ascended masters that speak to starseeds, light workers, energy healers, people, however they identify. If they're identifying in some of those kookier, more abstract patterns, generally they have a more willingness to go there. However, I've seen activations open up in people where they went, what? Including myself. Now, I didn't come from a religious background exactly. However, I did understand the whole Jesus Christ thing through some Pentecostal experiences, and Southern Baptist. I'm sorry, I do know there's a difference. And those never really worked for me. They just didn't. And then someone that I was very close to went into New Thought, New Age, whatever, and was very clear in telling me it's not New Age, it's New Thought. And that used to kind of bug me, like, if it's New Thought and it's ascended, then what does it matter what we call it? It's not, long as we're not stepping there and staying there. It doesn't want to keep growing and knowing more and knowing more. And when over the years, I embraced that idea of spirituality far better. However, it was still rooted in the Bible and the Jesus Christ understanding, take what you want, leave the rest. And that just bugs me. And now I know why, is that, we're only taking what we want, and we're not really saying the truth, which is take the truth, all of that, and nothing of the rest. And that truth might not be what you want. However, the truth needs to be spoken from the teacher or the minister or the reverend or the goddess or the cosmic guide, because these are people who are relegating themselves to position of teacher. Then please teach what the truth is, not just what your understanding of the truth is. Limited to that, if that's where we are, which all of us are. I like to always say, and if I don't, please remind me right away, that this is my understanding, and you get to your door and you get through to your understanding, because you'll know more about how you can assimilate all of that information, the 12 tribes kind of information, where we've got, sangomas, we've got witches, we've got mermaids, you've got all kinds of energy that sounds really creepy and strange if you're not willing to really open up your mind. It can sound bizarre and like alien and we've got worry about alien invasion. I've not come into contact with any energy that is working with me that is in a loving frequency. What comes in that is not is that inconsistency that's been called out to say, yeah, that's inconsistent, it's not right there, and no. And when that's challenged, that energy, wherever it's coming from, off planet, on planet, doesn't matter, is demonic and devilish or evil or bad or negative, however we're identifying it. Person, when it's housed in a person, I'm going to say it to a person's face, and when that gets real activated and it decides to go raunchy and nasty, it gets very nasty, and it can be quite ugly behind the scenes with throwing energy in a very bad way, which, kitchen witch, black arts, dark arts that are really nasty, and curses, generational curses and things like that. Those are real things. People do use them. I never would have imagined that either. However, I have had vision of what that looks like, and I've experienced some really gruesome things that were thrown my way in terms of, that can't possibly be true. And it set up a real weird cognitive dissonance in me, that my heart just knew that there's something very terrible about saying what you're saying Monday through Saturday, and then on Sunday saying something different, or hearing something different and going, yeah, pass the plate, and put my $20 in, and I'm good to go Monday through Saturday to be kind of a jackwing. The life should be moving us, in my opinion. This is what I know, this is what I grow, and this is how I continue to move, because that's the ethic that's given to me by ancestors, guides, etc., is that every step I take needs to be in that 12 tribes understanding, the highest, best behavior that I can exhibit, not because I need to prove to anybody else. I need to continue to prove to me that I know which way to go to be in my divinity. And the more I listen to that divinity and don't try to shove myself through even New Thought, New Age, whatever, ascended mastery knowledge, if somebody else has given it to me and I know That's not sitting right in my college. I need to get up and go, because it's not going to serve me if I'm sitting there in that confusion, especially now. Because whether I agree with everything having to do with the Ascension concepts, timeline wise and everything, I do know that we shifted quite a while ago, the Mayan calendar and all of that. It all connects together. And everybody has a piece of that pie, and dabbling around and trying to land somewhere doesn't work for me, because I'm looking for a big global understanding of what's the spider web and how do I connect with that. And not the matrix, thanks. I'm unplugged from that and understand that we're all interconnected. And that spooky action at a distance that Einstein talked about is quantum entanglement, and it had to do with energy particles, and we're made of energy. We are particles. We are at our subatomic level. That's how we're built. We're built on that principle. That's why we understand it. And so frequencies matter. And how we interact and do our spooky action gets spookier and spookier whenever we think we can do something over here that's gonna not be imbalanced, and then have that need to be balanced somewhere else. And because of the shifts, the timelines, and the different planetary alignments, it's not, we really don't have any more of that time dilation thing where we have some waiting and it's gonna be 10 years before I get my karma. It's a pretty quick return on that stuff. I'm finding that that we're the veil gone. It's just gone and non-existent, that we're really not able to hang out anywhere without being naked, raw, and exposed. You see it around the world. We see it around the globe. I tried to be all like, well, in my world anyway, in the world, there are people popping off strange, murders are up, shootings, just the most bizarre stuff. I'd say that this is the end times in that biblical understanding, in that it's the end times of some bullshit. It's leaving, and there is no more time to be undivine. And those that continue to misunderstand that, what they need, I'm not in it, and that's why I kind of separate from that whole Christos consciousness. People need healing. They absolutely do. However, if you're just being evil and demonic, I can't help you, and neither can anyone else. And the last day or two, I've really felt it as we're coming into some pretty significant time with the harvest full moon in Aries. I have a North Node Aries. That's going to ping in very, 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 very well for me. And then that activation on 1010, that really brings into alignment some very big stuff. And the solar eclipse, a partial solar eclipse, and then Halloween. No matter where anybody else is on the planet, in the United States, that is a big deal, as in that we all know about it. The general American public knows about it, whether it's significant to them on an ancestral level or whatever, or they're using it for Sangoma work or weird kitchen witch stuff or whatever. We have plenty that, oh no, that doesn't happen. Yes, it does. Yes, it absolutely does. And whether people mean to be doing that or not, if you're aligning with people that do, you don't know what they're doing when they're not with you. And I found out the hard way with that. And so when I'm feeling it, and I know how to process it and handle it and alchemize it at this point, but damn, it nearly killed me, because I could not get over the idea that, nah, they wouldn't do that. There's no way. Because on Sunday they're saying, all these really sweet things that sound really good. Or, they're in church somewhere where, even a New Age church or a New Thought or, Hippieville spirituality, they're doing that. They meditate, they have crystals, they have an appearance. And they take what they want to out of the truth and leave the rest behind, and there's still truth back there. And if we're not speaking the truth, we certainly cannot be teaching the truth if we're not living the truth. And that was the other thing that I watch very much. I'm very much a pick up the environmental clues, and when I see someone doing something that seems like shouldn't be that big of a deal, that, oh, well, I just do that because... That's a justification, but you can't bill yourself as somebody who's really in the light, walking in the light, and you got Jesus on your side when you're doing that kind of glide and slide. That's not how that works, not for it to be consistent. And the principles of science are very consistent. You're not going to change the properties of gravity. It might change when we get to 5D. We're not there. We operate with the principles of gravity right now, and being mad at gravity because it will cause you to fall out of a tree. It does not matter. It does not matter whether somebody challenged you and your ego took you there. I can defy it. Sure, I can do it. Or if somebody coaxed you up there and, lied to you the whole way, it does not matter. We don't defy those principles of any earth understanding in physics, quantum physics, or 5D. We do not, or excuse me, fifth element. We do not know enough about fifth element, and it's what is rocking outer space. That's mostly what we don't know. We only know a very small fractional amount about energy. And when you're talking about us and energy and how it matters, our frequency and stuff, we need to have a bigger understanding, because some of us get stuck believing faces and not understanding that the gaslighting thing is what will leave us sitting there looking at someone who's purportedly a leader in our spirituality, our religion, our church, our, I don't know, our political party, our sports authorities, our Hollywood celebrities. If we're believing faces and we're really putting a lot of reverence towards them, and they're not really, they're talking about being woke and lit, if they have to tell me and announce it, I'm really probably not listening very long or hard, except to do some investigation on my own of what do I need to learn about this, because I know it's bullshit, so let's just get in here. But to do a whole lot of what's wrong with me, no, when there's inconsistency and there's that cognitive dissonance, I know immediately that something's not working for me. It doesn't mean that they're automatically wrong. It does not. It means that I take a moment to pause and say, why is that inconsistent? What is that inconsistency? And is it me being resistant to hearing the truth, or is this person just not standing in the truth? And if somebody's telling me, if they have to tell me that they walk in the light, that's an inconsistency right there, because we should be able, if we are truly walking in light, we would be exhibiting that, and we would be doing things that are consistent with being in the light and being in the right angle right. I don't mean egoic right, I mean, or far right or far left. I mean a balanced individual that, by and large, I'd say at least 98% of the time we're doing the right thing. And we might get stuck in our ego every once in a while, or we might pop off on somebody, because we're human beings. However, starseeds, light workers, earth angels, however we identify, when we're really activated and we're in our north node, we're in our purpose, we're in our life path, whichever way you get to understanding it, doesn't matter as long as you do. When we're standing in that energy, we're really not about, screwing anybody or stealing anything from them or worrying about our agenda of how much money we have. I mean, that's not what I've found with the people who are truly walking those paths. They are prosperous and they are moving forward. However, their agenda is not about, doing a whole lot of manifestation work, and it's definitely never targeting towards someone else to get them to do something or to destroy them in any way whatsoever. That's not even remotely a Jesus Christ principle. So it's been real hard for me to look at people and go, okay, your mouth is saying some Jesus Christ sounding stuff, and yet you're really trying to destroy what I'm doing, how I am moving throughout my life, and, denying the most beautiful parts of me that I'm offering to you, and you're kind of crapping on it and telling me it's horrible out of pain, out of jealousy, out of all these things. That's not my bag. And it hung me up for a really long time, not understanding that no, go with that inconsistency and start investigating there. I don't need to understand what's wrong with anybody. I need to understand with what's wrong in me, that I'm feeling the inconsistency and why. And when I get to that information, that was more important, to gain that and to glean the knowledge of there is an inconsistency. Immediately find out what it is before you get hurt playing with fire you don't even know is lit behind you, around you, and top of you, etc. Because phoenixing up out of those situations is possible. You sure can. I have a couple of times, and it about killed me. And so my mission in life is not to save those that continue to set fires. If you want to be an arsonist, an energetic arsonist, I really don't want to hang out with you, especially those that are cloaking themselves behind some very, very principled ascended masters that came here with the same idea of, I'm here to heal and show you how to do that. And people that are using that and bastardizing it, those are big no-nos in cosmic land. Those are cosmic felonies. And, people that are into cosmic felonies, they pay cosmic felony prices. Cosmic larceny, I like to keep my, price tag down there and really just try to avoid any kind of deception at all. I mean, I'm a human being. However, I don't want to play with other people, even human beings, and as Jesus Christ as I care to be, and Buddha-ish, and Mother Mary, and Mother Teresa-ish, all of these wonderful ideals. Yes, I want to live there, and I want to be honest with myself about what I'm actually seeing. And when I have somebody announcing their Jesus Christ self, and they're doing things to harm me, or they're doing things to deny what I'm asking of you, please don't do that. I don't want you to talk to me that way. Or please don't, take things from me that are not yours. Or I don't really want to deal with somebody that has jealousy issues. That's a very immature soul that's working to destroy someone because they're jealous. There isn't anything I have that another person couldn't. And stealing from me, That's a very busted frequency right there, that there's no way to steal from me. You can steal physical items, you can steal my money, you can steal my house, you can steal my kids, my car. I mean, you can steal whatever you want to physically. However, you can't steal the gifts that are given to me, and you will actually lose yours, and leave yourself in a horrible position if you had gifts to begin with. And I've dealt with people my whole life that had gifts. However, they were using them in a very dark, nasty way that, you know, the more you play wrong with that, now we've gone into a whole new cycle, a whole new galactic cycle, and the age of Aquarius, it's right here. And I don't have anything left to fear because I've seen some pretty nasty stuff, and I don't have anything that's left from, you know, life before. It's like, okay, I lost that. And believe me, I've been very grateful that, you know, I did. It took away things that were very precious to me and people that were very precious to me. But by and large, the rest of it, I haven't missed it one bit, not one bit at all. And it's been very freeing and liberating. But as I said, the price I paid on that was not picking up fast enough that people that, you know, can be trusted, and those that can't, they really need to be announced and in your own mind, and start making a plan to get away so that you're financially solvent, you're emotionally stable, all of those things, which I wasn't when I got dumped and left and that, you know, all that horrible story. I was not any of that stuff, and that was a hard train up. And you know, I got real connected to my ancestors and my guides and my angels and, you know, spirit teams and what have you, and that was awesome. However, the Akashic Record understanding would say that I had to do it that way, and I don't believe that. I believe that's some straight bullshit. That no, it did not have to be that, because anybody that has an understanding that they come from somewhere farther out in outer space, they may have no relevancy in those Akashic Records. Let's consider that at least. And if that seems arrogant, why? Because not all of us, there's 8 billion people on the planet. We can't possibly believe that, you know, we're either all from Earth and some of us believe some weird stuff. Well, if those people believe the weird stuff, then where did that idea come from? It has to be possible. If all things are possible, that's what I don't understand, is the inconsistency of New Age, New Thought, you know, that with God, all things are possible. Well, then that would mean there's outer space energy, okay? And if you're not believing something, you know, in the quantum field, anything is possible. It really is. It's a matter of, will it have the energy and the forward movement to make its way into 3D? And there's been some monstrous stuff with the veil being gone now, that it's made it from the quantum field here. And I've seen some uptick in, ew, you know, stop calling in out of the fear. There is no time to deny, and stop taking, you know, what you want to. Take the truth and leave the bullshit, because leaving the bullshit with you and calling that the truth, it kills us. And, you know, especially when we're offering up, you know, more generational curse pounding. And, you know, I've seen the generational curse stuff in my face and said, oh, okay, how do I deal with this? I'm not going to erase it or make it go away by denying it's here. My own lineage, my own personal history is just fraught with all kinds of perverse and sick energy that was very twisted and misunderstanding me as much as I was misunderstanding it, and wrapping it into familiar faces that just because they're familiar does not mean that they're friendly or that they're safe. At this point, I found out the hard way, and I don't want anyone else to be stuck somewhere wondering what's wrong with them, because I spent too many years on medication being obese and miserable and sleeping away a lot of my children's lives, being disconnected and unplugged because I could not figure out what was wrong with me. I journaled, I went to therapy, I went to this, I went to that, and hospitalized over and over and over again with some pretty intense treatment. I mean, long-term and intense medications, tons of them, and, you know, just not being aware or awake. And because of that, my children suffered, and I grieve that greatly. However, I can't help them at all if I'm not here. So that's the first thing, is be here. You know, Kate, be here now in the form that you can be. And the highest expression of me is not well accepted by anybody because it's threatening for some reason. I don't understand why. I really don't. I don't understand why, because I am very okay with, I want to know new understanding, I want to grow, I want to learn, and that's just me. But it's been twisted around that you're crazy and we need to put you on this med, we need to put you away, we need to do a lot of things to silence you. And yet for 4 years, you know, I no longer take any of those medications. They're not relevant, and I haven't been in the hospital since. I mean, it just doesn't, because that was the wrong understanding. It was not the truth. It was the truth that was told to me and that I accepted, because trustworthy faces were telling me that. And because I didn't have my own personal sovereignty or have a real relationship with the spirit in me or my team, my guides, my anything, and I was being advised by people that, you know, told me that they had that understanding and they were more in the know. You know, I know more because I'm a spiritual advisor, and here's my certificate of achievement on it, that it's really you, Kate. It's really you. You need to just, you know, journal some more or do your healing work. And the healing work was really about saying, yeah, you're really kind of full of shit and I got to go. And it was rough. It really was, and it gets lonely sometimes. However, my mission is greater than to understand myself as only one faceted human being. I'm not just any one thing to anybody. I came here with a mission that I'm very clear has always been here, that I've been humanitarian driven my whole life and wanting to, you know, save everything. And I understand now that, oh, the maturity of that grew into, I can't save everybody or everything. That's not even my job to try. My job is here to help others not deny any longer what is true about them. It is not to take care of people in a codependent way or to behave, you know, like I need to be taken care of codependently. We're no longer in those places, where that even works. That's why you see the world falling apart the way it is. And there's too much tragedy, too much, you know, loss, and too many good people who are being lost to misunderstanding of paradigms that, you know, it does not have to be written into your Akashic Records that you get your ass kicked all day long every day. It might be in a recorded something somewhere in cosmic space, and I'm willing to go beyond it and say, yeah, no, even if it is there, I'm willing to tell my team that I'm not bound by some bullshit contract. If bullshit contract on Earth can be broken, then it can be broken in cosmic space too, and it is. And it takes some work. However, it has to be done in my world, in my understanding, it had to be done with understanding that I'm not locked into your cosmic understanding of me, nor am I locked into your contractual agreement that you think you have with me. That's how karmic ties and generational bullshit just continues to ride, is taking that information now into the new age and really bastardizing it wrong. Jesus was not here telling stories. Neither were any of the other ascended masters. It's a matter of taking in to my soul and my spirit what I know to be true by vetting it through that higher energy and that higher understanding, which knows me better than anybody or anything could. I was made from that, and my personal belief is so is everyone else. However, what people choose to tap into and how they choose to use their energy and where they're going to get wrapped up in any contractual agreement, be it, you know, contractually agreed that you've got Akashic Records and the contract there, or that you've got to believe what the mom-dad story is, because, you know, guilt trip will buy you, you know, some uncomfortable feelings if you don't believe that, or that because you did this, you got to then do that, or your political party told you, or, you know, you're a Harvard graduate, so you got to do this. I mean, anywhere that's going to lock me down and define me, I'm going to just have to get out of town almost immediately, because the only understanding that I want to have, that I want to lock into, is that I'm here to bring healing for myself, and by healing myself at a minimum, I'm helping to heal the world by not being a jerk that's pulling on the energy of Mother Earth or anyone else. So at a minimum, my mission is to continue healing and to continue to grow in that healing and that understanding of the no, so that I can not be adding more, you know. Part of solving the problem is no longer be a part of the problem. And then we can talk about those steps of solving the problem after I'm no longer being the problem. And getting over that burp and bump, that was hard, because I was a problem myself by believing that I couldn't do any of that on my own. And it doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter if I was led down a primrose lane, and I can't blame it on anybody else. I really can't. I can say, yeah, you have accountability for helping me believe bullshit about me. However, it's still up to me. I found that out when I was left to figure it out or die, and that's just a rough way to go. And I did not find in my review that any part of my spirit team or my soul or my understanding of any of that, in deep conversation and a lot of meditation, that that did not have to be that way. That's part of the curse, or the generational curse stuff that you can help people possibly understand and break away, is that just because somebody told you that's a part of, you know, your historical record, doesn't mean that you have to live that or that you're bound to it. That's the empowerment from outer space that might tell you with a sun burp, or, you know, a planetary alignment, or a solar eclipse, you know, that might be the information that would tell you that, no, you don't have to do that. No, you don't. When you want to be done with that contract, just cut that shit and move it on and get it off of you, and do it in the most loving and kind way that can be done, and don't create more karma as you go, because that will just keep you stuck in that dumbass paradigm. So that's probably enough for now. These can be intense, they can be long, and it's stuff that runs around in my head all day long, with understanding a new facet. But it's really about, to me, dot collecting and connecting the understanding of how does this spider web work, and this little dot of information, how does it apply over there in that quantum entanglement understanding, and keep my spooky action at a distance, far less spooky. And if it feels spooky to somebody else, that's on them. However, the energy that I'm sending, as long as it's clean, everywhere that I know to send energy and receive energy, I'm only receiving the good stuff. And that means that I keep myself protected. Doesn't mean that bad, awful things can't come my way. It means that I deal with what comes my way, and putting up a bubble of protection and believing that because I said, you know, Archangel so-and-so is protecting me, that's fantastic. However, we're not there anymore where we can really just sit around lofty and believe that evil stuff isn't being thrown around. We need the protection that we say we have, and then to know how to deal with the reality of 3D is changing rapidly, and there's a lot of people that don't like it or want to play that way, and they don't want to believe that there's anything except what their eyeballs can see. And right now, we really could do well to not believe so much of what we see in holy hell here in 3D, and get more into the understanding there's more in the quantum field, that, you know, nature speaks to us, animals speak to us, all kinds of energy forms are here that speak to us if we can lose the fear. And part of losing the fear is having faith, and putting faith in a human being. That's not a good way to grow faith. It really is not, because every human being is fallible and has a selling spot somewhere. And if we're already starting with people that have some ratchet views, they're gonna toss you out the minute they feel afraid enough, or they can, and they will eventually. We all do. It's just that some of us really, you know, we're gifted with the ability to face our fears in a healthier way, or we've been shoved that direction, whatever. That I figure, you know, I'm here, and it sounds nuts to people. That's fine. It's okay. However, the few people, however many there are, anyone that would be salvaged from that, I want to help them all day long, and not so much people that are already fighting me right off the top. You're not my work, you know? And I wish I had known that. So I'm very honest, open, and clear about what I know. And if somebody doesn't believe it, you don't have to be here. I'm not encouraging you. I'm not grabbing you by the hand and dragging you down Primrose Lane or anywhere. I'm not dragging anybody. I'm telling you, I'm not your dragger, and you are not my draggee. That is not what my principle is. And I'm certain that it was not Jesus or any of the other ascended masters either. It's being connected enough to that source of whatever you call, whatever tribe you align with, just make it one that's high vibrational, and that will take you where you need to go, to understanding how to get more in the flow of the know, and to be able to separate out what might just be clutter in your butter and racket, that at this point it's not just racket, it's gunfire, and it's all kinds of things that will pop up and try to ruin your world. And you know, that's not karma necessarily. That's just some bad understanding. It will be karma because you're not getting the lesson. It can turn into karma in a minute. And karma at this point looks a whole lot like death for a lot of people in massive ways, that it's not necessary to do it that way. It doesn't matter how it's written anywhere in the stars or elsewhere in your mind. That's an old paradigm that would tell you need to lock down somewhere and buy someone's story. If it doesn't work, please get inside and get there with understanding that that really doesn't work for me. Then find out what does, because 8 billion people, 8.5, whatever it is, the billions of people on the planet, we are going to come here from wherever we come, and we all have our own understanding if we're allowed to have that. And if you already don't have it because somebody's telling you you're crazy, you're stupid, you're wrong, you're bad, blah, 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 and through the guilt trip, that's a great way to go, right? If you already have that, that's going to hamper your ability, and there's your karma right there, is not understanding the game, and it changed. So here we are. Thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate you visiting my channel. I hope you have a great day, whatever part of the day you're in, friend, and get within, because what's inside of you, friend, within, your divine is totally fine. Just get in there, meet it, befriend it, and know that there's no enemy inside you. There is monkey mind. Third eye is good. There's monkey mind that will tell you there's enemies all over the place to make you paranoid and crazy and all kinds of stuff. And it would be redirected your way, that it's you. And it's probably not. It's that's the old paradigm. It's the programming of some very toxic and busted, technology up there that, no, we've updated into newer technology. We're not on that flip phone stuff. We're not on that. We're beyond it. We're into smart technology now. So I like to go with the most updated information I can get, no matter how crazy, kooky, or whatever it looks like, because that's me. That's what I'm here to do. So thank you very much for joining my channel. Do have a beautiful day, whatever part of the day you're in, and get within, because you're divine. Totally fine. Take care, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye, friends.